Come here. Get off.
Welcome to this week's episode of The Turn On. We have a few mailbag questions that we are going to answer from you, our amazing listeners. So let's just jump right in.
Let's get it.
You know what? I will call this the online dating edition.
Yes.
Because these all follow a theme.
Right.
So, first question. Can you do a top 5 dating apps for various preferences, like women seeking men, women seeking women, looking for older partners, younger partners, kinks, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
this is kind of like our dating wheelhouse, right?
yeah, this has been our wheelhouse. And I will say, Kelly, your intentionality in online dating has just been really good to like see. And so it's made me like that, combined with just therapy and knowing myself more and being unafraid to ask for what I want, has made me so much a better online dater. And I am still in the online dating isn't trash. It's just you got to know, you got to be willing to cut shit off.
Yes.
And,
things that like once you realize the things that don't serve you and get really good at moving on and not feeling like you owe people anything, it gets a lot easier. It's a lot less energy. It doesn't take so much of your energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there are a few sites that we're going to just kind of talk about.
Yeah.
One of them that I like is called Seeking Arrangements, also Seeking. I think the website is seeking.com. But this is for people that want a sugar baby. So if you're a sugar baby and you're looking for a sugar daddy, sugar mama, whatever, you put a profile on Seeking and you find people. It's like a regular dating app. It's just people have want actual arrangements. Some people are very clear about the fact that I am married and I want a side piece. My wife does know. My wife doesn't know. My husband knows. My husband doesn't know. So you just kind of got to go in depth on the profiles. But I actually was on Seeking for a little bit and met, people. I don't want to say, I guess they were good. It's just the situation didn't line up and it wasn't for me. The relationships weren't for me. But
it's a good tool for those.
It's a good tool. Yeah. Also, if you are a college student or still have your .edu email address, you can get a premium account for free. So that's also something to think about. And then if you do a couple Google searches, you can
probably find a code or something.
No, you can find like how to do a good profile and that kind of thing. Because let's be real, people pay for pussy and dick all the time.
Yeah.
You might be paying with your time, might be paying with dinner. Some people just want cash. So, like call a spade and let's do it. So yeah, Seeking was good. It was a really good interface and you can find lots of people. I did find that there were a lot more white men on there than black men, but I still found black men.
Word.
So,
okay.
Yep.
Yeah, their
website,
it is indeed seeking.com, and it says upgrade your relationships where beautiful and successful people find mutually beneficial relationships. That pretty much sums it up really well. So my first rec is Coffee Meets Bagel, and that is where I found my partner after quite some time on another one of the apps, which we're going to mention. And I liked it because it lets you filter who you were looking for. So like with a lot of apps, you really can only say the gender of the person that you're looking for, and like maybe age. And then they go by your location, and that's really all that you can do. But with Coffee Meets Bagel, you can put in, race and ethnicity. You can drill down a lot more than you can on other apps. And so it felt less like sorting through a massive, it felt less like entering a hoarder house and more like sorting through a dumpster.
Yeah.
So it was
Yeah.
easier to find, and then they like recommend people to you every day. They give you like, I don't know, you get a certain number of bagels. I never really quite understood the concept, but they would serve up people to you every day and be like, do you like this person? Yes or no, kind of a deal. And so even if you weren't actively going through and looking for folks, they would find people that matched based on the criteria that you put in and put them before you, which was, it felt like less work, but it felt like more detailed work. And for me, I mean, I was on there for a few months when I found my partner, and it worked out well, obviously. So, yeah, I like it. If you know what you're looking for, it's good for hyper focusing on that. Yeah, that worked really well for me. What about you, E?
Um, yeah. So I use Hinge, same situation. But before I started using Hinge, I used Bumble.
Same.
And Bumble was the first app that I used when I got in the whole online dating thing.
Me too. And I did your profile.
Yes, Killer did my profile. And this was when I decided, hey, I just want to like have lots of sex. So, Bumble was different. I like it because women run the show. So no conversation begins without the woman making the first move. Few things. It made it difficult for me. And on the apps, I'm just looking for men. I haven't like looked. Yeah, I wasn't looking for a woman. But so I guess I don't know how it works on the lesbian side of things, on the same sex side of things. But anyway, so using Bumble definitely made me more aware of like maybe more sympathetic of when I get like shitty pickup lines from guys, because it's like you really have no idea what the fuck to say. You're just like,
you really have to
"You
figure them
cute.
shits out.
Let me play with your titties," you know. So it definitely made me more aware of that. But it was also good to see who could, like just kind of keep a conversation going. Also, with Bumble, you can't really filter by preference. But I paid for like the premium for like 3 months or something.
So you can see who likes you, who swiped on you.
Exactly. So you see who swiped on you. So for that, it kind of automatically gave me mostly black guys or white guys or
It did not.
Asian guys.
It gave
or
me all
whoever.
kinds of people.
Well,
But
yeah,
it's nice to be able to see who has already swiped on you.
Exactly. So it's like you're picking from a pile of people that have already expressed interest.
Yes.
So yeah, it was good. I haven't found a partner on it, but I definitely think it was good. And then I also like that it would show you like if people were just in town visiting, which was a clear, I'm just trying to fuck. So yeah, Bumble was a good one. Okay, so now we're gonna like go into the dating apps that we've heard about, got recommendations from other people, but necessarily haven't tried ourselves, so we can't really vouch for them. I always laugh about Our Time, but look, it's an app, it's out there, it's for older people. And so if you're looking for someone that's a little more seasoned in age, even though I do think there are older people on all the apps, but Our Time is like, I guess it's the jitterbug phone of online dating. It's geared towards older people.
That's not nice. But it's simple, right? It has full features. Is just exactly what you need, and it's easy to use. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So, damn. Don't be I wasn't trying to be shady.
When I hear jitterbug, it makes me giggle. Maybe I'm a child.
Okay, what you got, Killer?
Okay, so another one that we heard of but haven't used ourselves, but that our research tells us is lovely, is the app Her, which is for lesbians for women and for queer folk. And that's women, all of our gorgeous iterations that we come in. It looks so I saw a few different ones when I was doing research. And this was the only one that actually had people of color right up front and center, and not just a couple of white, cisgender women listed on the site, which I just thought was hopefully a great sign. They've already got like 4 million women in their database, so this ain't like it's some little rinky-dink something that you coming in and won't actually have a good field of people to connect with. And so yeah, it looks really interesting. It looks like they are backed by a group of folks who are, again, not just white. I can't stress enough how important that is when you're doing these apps, when the only folks that are on there are people who you may not necessarily feel aligned with. They have a blog, which is cool, all the stuff like with articles like all things oral and things that are very much targeted toward their confidence boosting workout tips for tops, bottoms, and switches. Hey, yeah, I'm like, this is interesting.
Maybe you got some knee strengthening.
Yeah, the blog is actually really dope. How do you masturbate when you don't have privacy? Ooh, somebody should send us a question about that for future mailbag.
I like it.
So yeah, that's our pick for women and other queer folks who do not identify as men, that maybe there is somebody there for you in that space, whether it's that you're looking for a friend or you're looking for a friend.
A friend. Okay, so I have I talked to my gay people and gay men people. I know that sounds really weird.
Sounds like my African Americans.
My African Americans. So I talked to my gay expert, and he said that he liked Jacked. Jacked is a dating website for gay, bi, trans, and queer people. I think it's primarily men because it's a lot of he's on the website. But yeah, and they pride themselves on being diverse. When I asked my gay, I need better language. I'm so sorry,
I understand is that you're trying to not out the person who you're talking
about. I'm not trying
to
to identify who
I get it.
I mean, they're very open in their sexuality.
But that don't mean they want to be on the podcast.
Exactly. So when I talked to him, he was like, Jacked is for black people. So Jacked is the more diverse community. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's I guess you just you find your folks. It's a location kind of thing. You also can do anonymous browsing. You can also see how often they respond to messages and what kind of people they're into.
Dope.
So I'm like,
that's a nice feature.
Who else giving me that kind of insight? So yeah, that's what we have. Yeah. If y'all have a suggestion of a particular website that you'd like, please let us know, because I'm still out here in the streets. So let a player know. I'll definitely be your
guinea pig,
your taste tester.
Oh, that's better. That's much better.
I'll be your taste tester. So refer a bitch. Okay.
It's also a double entendre.
Double entendre. Okay. Next question. What is different in meeting by app in our current world? Speaking from someone who's not familiar with protocols. So I guess they're just trying to ask, like, what's normal for, like when you're stuck at home doing these Corona dates. What's normal?
Or even just, they said meeting, so maybe even just like starting at that beginning of what that looks like. It's interesting. I think that there used to be kind of a stigma around it, but I don't know that there is anymore, at least not in our age group. Because we have so many friends who met their partners, like who are married with kids and everything else, who met them online. Shit, Black Planet. We got friends.
No, not Black Planet. Black People Meet.
I thought they met on Black Planet. No, they would have met in like
87.
Oh, okay, whatever, stuff like that. I'm not good with history. Anyway.
I can't with you, but okay.
But it's interesting because I've had people say, oh, well, you're just talking to a stranger. But honestly, I feel like by the time I've swiped on somebody on an app, I know more about them than if they were trying to approach me in a bar or on the street. Like, I know roughly where you live. I know and again, it's all the information that you choose to give. But that's the case whether you're talking to them in person or you're talking to them on an app, right? The information is only as good as the person is honest. But I've got a bunch of pictures, so I know what they look like in different lighting situations. I know what they value enough to put in their pictures. Like if it's a nigga posing with his car, I know to keep swiping.
Yes.
You can learn a lot from somebody from looking at their profile that give you enough information on whether or not you want to get to know somebody. And I think that you get more of that there than you get with a nigga stopping you on the sidewalk.
Just meet in the mall.
Yeah. Yeah.
Meet in the mall. Oh, you can tell I was hanging out in Northwest Plaza as a teen. My beeper getting numbers.
I was too, girl.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's great that you get to know so much more information about people, but I also think that this gives you an opportunity to kind of be more intentional and ask better questions and stuff. Because, if I meet you if I meet you in a bar, I'm probably drunk. I don't really quite remember you. I might be like, he had a beard, you know? And yes, I Google people.
Yeah.
I have no problem. And Google me. It's fine. But yeah, so I don't think there's anything very different.
Except for that you have more information.
Yeah, you have more information. I feel like it's a more robust first meeting.
Yeah.
I do try my best to not do too much digging. Does that make sense? Because I don't want to form an opinion on you before I actually meet you.
Yeah, no, that's real. I usually just do a cursory search because the world is so small.
Make sure you don't
I want to know.
Show up in a do you know in person? Similar Instagram friends?
Exactly.
Because then if we do, I'm asking them about your ass.
Exactly. And I have found many a person who we were connected via somebody else on Facebook or whatever, or if they went to the same school we went to or something like that. And so that cursory search gives you a little bit of information that you can sprinkle in as you start to
Y'all be Eskimo sisters. Exactly. You be Eskimo sisters with a good girlfriend, not even knowing it. Isn't that the term, Eskimo sisters?
I've never heard it as sisters, but I like it.
Hold on.
I've heard it as brothers, but also Eskimo's a slur. So tonight's scene would not recommend.
We're going to cut all that out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nope. Okay, never mind then.
Okay. I also think, I think that in any situation, but maybe it is a little bit easier when you meet somebody online to get caught in a text cycle, right? Maybe when you meet somebody in person, you're more likely to get on a phone, but I don't know, because I can't remember the last time a man was courageous enough to walk up on me and have something decent enough to say that I actually would follow through.
Yeah.
Usually it's trash, and we never get to that point. But I could see that it may be more difficult to break out of the texting cycle if you meet on an app. I know for me, I kind of had as Erica said, I was very intentional. So I had a set icebreaker that I would use because on apps like Bumble, the women make the first move. So I had a set thing that I always started with. I don't remember what the hell it was now, to be quite honest, but that was my opening line. They would start the conversation and they would have 48 hours to get back. If I didn't hear from them by then sorry for you. Yeah, you're obviously not interested in me or interested in any of this, and it's cool. No love lost. I'll unmatch and we keep moving. If you do respond, but trying to get you to have a conversation is like pulling teeth, and you didn't say, oh, I'm at work. Can I, I'll hit you back later on.
Don't WYD me to death.
Yep. If you do all of that, if every time I ask you a question, you give me a one sentence or a one word answer or some bullshit, and then you don't ask me a question.
You literally, all you have to say is, here's my answer, comma. And you?
Exactly.
Question mark.
But you'd be surprised how many people do not do that. They answer the question and then they just go dark. And they're expecting you to guide every bit of the conversation. And guess what? Don't have time for that.
Because you probably need guidance in the bed.
Yes, that too. But also to me, it shows a lack of overall interest or effort. And I'm not about to be the only one putting in effort now or later, right?
Yeah.
And then if we've been able to maintain a decent conversation and they haven't said anything that is offensive, that hits on any of my automatic no's, which is hotepery, which is homophobia or transphobia, which is, what are some of my other If they, well, I wouldn't have swiped on them if they did a job that I found untenable, which is honestly usually just being a cop. Or if they, and then, so I also had things that were automatic swipes. So the car in your picture, saying that you're sapiosexual, no thank you. Saying that you are an alpha, no thank you. Not an alpha phi alpha, but an alpha male.
Yeah.
No thank you. Yeah, and then I expect us to be able to hop on the phone within, I don't know, 72 to 96 hours, 3 to 4 days, and have a decent conversation.
Oh,
Again,
fuck
I
that.
was
I don't even
not.
like that.
I'm saying. I mean, I'm accounting for the fact that people may have jobs or be traveling or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
But once we get to that point, if we haven't been able to connect and have an actual conversation, and it shows me that you're not that interested, and that's fine. Again, no love lost. We keep it moving. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I found that I make the jump quick to talking on the phone, just because, like, I don't. Let me say this: when I have made the jump quick to talking on the phone, it's been like organic, and it worked better. Like, you start texting in the app, and all of a sudden you're texting back and forth, and it's like,
It's
you know
too
what,
much.
fuck
Let's
it, what's
just
your
get on the
phone
phone.
number so we can talk.
Yeah.
And and then that's kind of what happens with me. I'm a Gemini. I'm impatient. If you give me 96 hours, 92, what you say?
I said
How
3
many
to 4
hours?
days.
3 to 4 days. I ain't gonna like you in 4 days. You got to keep my ass interested from the beginning. So yeah, I find that I actually, I mean, I like talking, like I like texting and stuff, but I
You
find
know
that
me,
it's
I hit
easier.
a wall.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, and that's the thing. Like I find that I do better with people that are like, fuck that, call me,
Yeah.
let me talk to you, let me hear your voice, and so it's yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I got for that.
Dope.
Okay, last question, and I'm gonna be quiet on this because I am an ain't shit bitch. What are the best ways to end a relationship in the texting norm?
Okay. Well, first of all, if texting is the thing that you're doing, and that's not a relationship, that's just somebody who you texting with. If y'all haven't graduated to a phone call, then that's just a nigga that you texting with. And I say that to help us keep things in perspective, because my mantra when it comes to that is that you don't owe anybody any fucking thing. So that does not mean that you ghost people, but it does mean that you are clear and then you move on. So what I would do when this was my life is usually the moment would come because somebody has said something ignorant on text. They had hit one of my non-negotiables, or we had gotten on the phone and, they said something to me like they were glad that Bill Cosby didn't get caught, or all the things that were happening when I was still online dating. And I would get off the phone quickly. And the reason I would do that is because I am not about to argue with you about whether or not we should continue this relationship. I would just get off the phone. I would send them a text. Again, it was a standard text. It said, I don't think we're a good fit for each other, but I wish you really well. Take care. And then I would block them. Now, why do I block them? Because the people who I would send that message to, very often, there was something that was there that let me know that this was going to turn into some type of an argument. I think I can only think of 2 people in the entire, I don't know what, year that I was online dating, where we were able to continue, where I didn't have to block them, where they felt like a normal enough person and not like problematic, where we could continue to talk. Actually 3, where we can continue to just have conversations sporadically without it turning into a thing. In one particular case, this dude was a minister, and he said something outlandish about sexual abuse. And I got off the phone. I sent him the message, but my phone is linked to my computer, so I can send text messages, from both places. And I think this was like a Saturday night or something. So I blocked him on my phone. What I didn't know at the time was that if you don't open your laptop, then the blocking does not transfer over. And it was Saturday. I didn't open my laptop again until maybe Sunday night or Monday morning. And so I had blocked him. But when I opened my laptop, this nigga had been texting me for 24 hours about how I judged him too quickly, how I was being closed-minded, about sexual abuse. Okay. And all of these things about how I needed to give him another chance. There were messages at 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. This fool had gone on a whole tear telling me why I fucked up by telling him that we were not a good fit. You heard what my message was? It was very nice. I didn't even go into details. Why? Because I don't owe you details. So, in my opinion, the best way to do it is to just say that you are not a fit. You do not owe anyone details, and then you block them and you ain't got to deal with them. And if they leave you a voicemail message, the beautiful thing about that is that now if you have somebody blocked, their message just drops down to the bottom and you never even know that it came in. It makes me happy. That is my advice for dealing with breaking up with cats you don't know online.
Yeah, no, I think it's beautiful. I think it's absolutely beautiful. And so I'm not even going to give my 2 cents because I'll have your ass answering phone calls from niggas. Huh? What?
Girl.
Oh, my bad. I'm feeding my cows. I'll call you later.
Why
May or may
subject
not have been an
yourself to
excuse.
some shit that you don't want to? And
Yeah.
you don't
And
have
again,
to,
you don't owe anyone anything. And not even on some like disrespectful shit, but like we have no investment with one another.
Yeah.
So let's just call it
and you should say something, because like I was ghosted once in the course of that online dating.
Okay, so thank you, Kenrya, for that. Because like I said, I'm trash. It'd be all bad. But anyway, thank you for joining us. This is Erica and Kenrya, your 2 favorite hoes, making it clizzap. This episode was produced by us, Erica and Kenrya, and edited by Ballistic. The theme music is from Brazy. Now you can support The Turn On and get off. Subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast app. Then drop us a 5-star review and you'll be entered to win something that's turning us on. Post your review and email a screenshot to us at theturnonpodcast@gmail.com to enter. Our Patreon page is also live. Become a supporter today and access lots of goodies, including 2-for-1 raffle entries. Don't forget to send us your book recommendations and sex and related questions. And follow us on Twitter at The Turn On Pod and Instagram at The Turn On Podcast. You can find links to books, merch, transcripts, guest info, and other fun stuff at theturnonpodcast.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you soon. Holla!